inspirations for this art collection was there'll never be pilots like this again. These are World War II pilots. I met many of them. And further inspiration came from Tom Brokaw's book, The Greatest Generation. And I hope that all of us probably had parents that served in World War II. And I had an opportunity to meet many of these pilots because just south of here, in the town of Oshkosh, is the largest air show in the world in July. In fact, it starts this coming
Oh,
Monday,
I'm going to miss it.
You're going to miss it.
Oh, well, I'll be back.
And during the 50th anniversary of World War II, each year, they invited these pilots back, and they had these reunions. And I decided, well, I was going to do some of this collecting, and all of these, again, are signed by the various pilots. They're different nationalities. I just look at the pilot. I don't care what their nationality is. I'm interested in what they did, and also, you know, how they flew, how they led, how they survived. So, my favorite is Peter Townsend. He's a British pilot. Flew in the Battle of Britain, you know, in the 1940s. I had dinner with him one night in Washington D.C. and it was a wonderful experience. He actually worked for the King of England as an air attaché.
Wow.
So he knew Queen Elizabeth when she was a princess, and he actually fell in love with Princess, I believe it was Margaret.
Margaret, the one who married Commoner.
And they wanted to get married. Okay, Elizabeth wouldn't let him get married because Townsend was a commoner. Okay.
They want to dilute the blood.
He couldn't do that. So just later on, he moved to France, became an author, and just a true gentleman. So, and these are the kind of people that inspired me. You mentioned, you know, this print here is a tribute to the 8th Air Force, and the 8th Air Force flew over Europe, World War II, and there's several of their pilots. And here's in this churchyard in England, there's a monument to the 8th Air Force, and there's a little boy looking up. Aren't we all dreamers? Weren't you a dreamer?
Yes,
before you became
everybody.
a ship's captain, a ship's master?
Yes, of course.
And that's what motivates you. And I bet one of those days that little boy became a pilot and lived his dream also. If I can go back to Flying Tigers,
yeah.
Tex Hill, who was Flying Tiger pilot, he and I kind of crossed paths a few times, and I told you the story about there was a speech that had to be given and Tex Hill was sick, and I was called to see if I could stand in, give the speech for Tex Hill. Well, he was 6'4" and I was 5'6", so there was a big difference. Plus, he was.
You filled his shoes, though.
I could never fill Tex Hill's shoes, but I read his book, and I showed you the nice sentiment he wrote in the book, and I actually gave the speech like it was Tex Hill speaking from his book. So it was a special moment. Hello, I'm Dan McGraw, MA class of 1965. Welcome to our home, Tom. It's great to have you in Marta.
Beautiful home.
Yeah, I just wanted to graduate and just kind of move on, you know, and that was my goal. I guess that's everybody's goal. And until you came along, Tom, I really haven't given MA that much thought. You saw the things that I've kept.
Yes.
You know, all my yearbooks. I saw
in all perfect condition.
And so the experience meant so much to me, and I couldn't have done what I did in life without having that MA experience, because it gave me the confidence, the self-esteem, and the determination to make something out of my life. And I sure hope that I've done that, you know. But,
and more.
You know. So, but you know, again, the whole scope of it, my teammates. You know, our classmates, the faculty, you know. Jim Goffis was another mentor of mine, you know. So it all worked out, you know. And there were some really outstanding people that I treasured that I ever met. But again, as I said, I will be forever grateful to Dick Foes and his dad for what they did for me. You know? So that's about my.
Well, we hope your health continues to improve and that in 2020 we'll see you September in Lake Tahoe, if that's possible.
Yeah, I hope to. I hope to be there, and I mean, you know, I have a great neurosurgeon who actually did work with the NFL and the Packers. Couldn't have asked for a better neurosurgeon, and got a good physical therapist. So I'm just, you know, they both say that it's a miracle about what happened, that I even survived the crash. The FAA said that kind of a crash has less than a 10% survival rate, and let alone a guy coming out and you can see, you know.
Still walk.
And so I've got a great support structure, and again, I think life is good.
You have a remarkable wife with
Yeah.
Sue.
Sue is just a beautiful, you know, person. I'm so blessed, you know, to have her, and yeah, it makes me smile just to think about her. And so after I left California, I attended the University of Minnesota, played rugby. I also had an opportunity to meet one of our classmates, Mark Order. Mark was going to school at another college there in Minnesota, so it was always nice to see Mark. After college, I went to Officer Candidate School, Marine Officer Candidate School in Quantico, Virginia. And following that, I attended flight training, went to the Naval Air Training Command, Pensacola, Florida, and became a naval aviator, designated naval aviator. Then I believe it was Gordy Gordine. Gordy, only you can confirm this, but I believe I was walking down the sidewalk one day in Pensacola, and I ran into a naval officer, and I believe it was Gordy, and we had a short discussion. I never saw him again. Big place, and we were both in different kind of training. So after flight training, I flew helicopters in the Marine Corps for approximately 8 years. Flew all over the world.
Well, so one question I have of you. When you were in the last days of Vietnam, weren't you involved in an airlift or something?
We were in the Philippines at that time, and they were coordinating the evacuation of Vietnam at that time. So, but you know, so then I also, you mentioned Tom Cone. You know, I did my time like all good Marines on Okinawa. Also was a maintenance test pilot up in Atsugi, Japan. Tom, I know you've been in Tokyo Bay. I've never seen so many ships in all my life as Tokyo Bay. I also flew in North Africa. You mentioned the Suez Canal. I was with a naval task force that actually began the minesweeping operations of the Suez Canal following the Israeli Arab War of '73. I served on Cyprus, Lebanon, then, you know, then went to, I'm trying to think where I went after that. Again, I said I did a tour in the Western Pacific. Passing through Hawaii, another one of our classmates, I met Wally Dean. I was walking down a street in Honolulu, and actually I was trying to...
That wouldn't be Hotel Street, would it?
That was Hotel Street.
Okay.
The infamous Hotel Street. One of my young Marines had gotten in trouble in Hotel Street, and I was called because I was his officer, and to come down, and the judge would release him if I would take him. You know, so he's going to release this young Marine to my custody. And of course, a lot of people that knew me at AMA would probably find that quite humorous, because there I was in my 20s and they're releasing this this Marine into my custody to keep him out of trouble. But he was an outstanding Marine as far as he goes. Later on, he rescued 2 pilots from a burning helicopter, and he was a very, very courageous young man. So, but I always found that quite humorous, to Judge was going to take my word that I'd keep him
Over his, yeah.
So, really enjoyed my tour in the Marines. I served on both coasts, East Coast, West Coast, all the Marine Air Wings. I decided to, when I was at the ripe old age of 30, I decided to, either become a career Marine or to go into industry. And Mrs. Threffel, who was my favorite teacher at MA, junior year, I had her for English, and not too many people knew that Mrs. Threffel let me drive her Corvette on football Fridays.
Wow.
But there was only one thing that I wasn't allowed to do, and I couldn't go to Foster's.
Freeze, yeah.
So I'd usually go over by Stanford or in that area. And I had several teachers that really took me under their wing and mentored me. They knew that sometimes my home life wasn't the best, and they gave me a lot of guidance. But that's another story. But Mrs. Threffel, one of the things she told me that always stuck with me was that she told me, she said, Dan, she said, some people will tell you that being in high school is the best time of your life. And she says, don't believe it could be the worst time of your life. She said, the best time of your life is going to be when you have a family and you enjoy what you're doing, working. So that I knew that wasn't going to happen, in the Marines, because I believe I did 4 overseas tours. I was also deployed aboard ship quite a bit. My favorite ship was the Incheon, and I also, served on the breach carrier, the HMS Bulwark. What a name! But so I came to that conclusion. Then I'm going to have to make this decision. So I decided to resign my commission and move back to the Midwest. I was fortunate to get a job with a company that was recruiting. They really liked junior military officers because they had a lot, because they knew they had leadership experience and they always had a lot of responsibility. So I took that position. I was given a lot of opportunities. I also met Susan, my wife. We married. We have a son, Christopher, and Christopher is an IT professional here in Wisconsin, and he's doing quite well, and he's been married for about 2 years. He married a beautiful young lady from St. Petersburg, and that's not Florida, that's Russia.
Wow.
And we just really love her. So, but again, I was given a lot of opportunities in business. I soon became a plant manager in a publishing company, or a printing and publishing company, and I took a similar position over in just south of Green Bay, and in a town called Appleton. And they call it the Fox Valley. It's the 3rd largest metropolitan area in Wisconsin. Again, we had some great people. The CEO was former military. He was in Patton's 3rd Army, World War II. He should have been in Tom Brokaw's book, The Greatest Generation, because he certainly was one of those people, and his wife too, Ethel. I also continued my career in military side of the house. I decided to join the reserves and continue to fly helicopters. I held several commands and company.
That was the Army Reserves.
As an Army Reservist. Command a maintenance company, an attack helicopter battalion, which is equal to a squadron. And then I also commanded an aviation brigade of about 150 aircraft and about 5,000 people.
Wow.
As a reservist. I retired like you did at the rank of colonel. Continued my career. Must mention Susan before I get away from that. Susan was awarded the Dr. Mary Walker Award. She's the first woman to ever receive the Medal of Honor, and this medal, or this award, was named after Dr. Walker for people that do a lot for families of deployed military personnel. And so Susan was awarded that by the Department of Defense.
Quite an honor.
Yes. Okay, so I continued my career in industry as a plant manager. Worked for, again, a great company. They were very good community, corporate citizens. I believe they've sponsored about 50 builds for the Habitat for Humanity. Built youth athletic facilities, college scholarships. Again, very, very good people. The CEO, when he passed away, left between $80 and $90 million to the community foundation.
Generous man. Yeah.
Yes, yes. What a role model, what a great type of person to work for. I retired from that job in about 2011 it was. And we moved up here. Susan basically was the architect of the house we live in. We did a lot of traveling to the South. We're both history buffs, we're both Civil War buffs. My two great-great-grandfathers fought for the Union in the Civil War in Minnesota regiments.
Okay.
So we wanted to kind of retrace some of those steps, but we really liked the Southern architecture, and she said that we really need to have a house like that. So
Antebellum, yeah.
she wanted an antebellum home, so she worked with an architect, designed the house, had it built. She was the general contractor. Amazing.
Beyond amazing.
You know.
It is right. Yeah.
So we did that. Really enjoyed retirement. We were traveling. We were also great outdoors people, like skiing, winter sports, summer sports, like ATVing, hiking, cross-country skiing, snowshoeing. And I imagine some people in California are shivering right now thinking that kind of thing is fun, but it was. We built this home so our friends could enjoy it with us, and the property we have 120 acres. And Tom, as you've probably seen, we have a whole lot of wildlife this morning, which you saw.
Beautiful.
The deer, the fawns, the blue herons, the cranes.
It's incredible.
We had everything. So we really enjoy this type of an environment. I was involved in a crash, a plane crash. Obviously, I survived, and I'm still going through some recovery, But life is good, and I am blessed in so many ways, and so I'm going to just see what I can do and just press on and make the best of
Got a great attitude, and you're a dedicated person. I think it's amazing.
So, but we again we enjoy what we have out here, and Sue and I now have been married for 35 years.
Congratulations.
So, yes, but I've seen so many of your videos. I am so impressed with our classmates and what they've done, and it was sad to hear about some of those that have passed. Wally Dean, Nikki Briggs, just wonderful people, wonderful memories. Jamie Parham, I remember sitting by her in our graduation. So. But
Burt Warden.
Yes, yeah, Burt Warden. Burt and I were really good friends. But anyway, I feel again, very fortunate, very, very blessed for what life has given me and given to my family.
Dick Vos helped you at a point in time in your family, did he not?
Yes, Dick and his father. A lot of people don't know it, but towards the end of my senior year there, I lived with Dick and his dad. They kind of took me in, and they were a tremendous influence on launching into my future, you know, and I hopefully I was successful, you know, in life.
Very.
And yeah, there'll always be you know, people that I'm so, you know, so grateful that they came into my life and took a heck of a responsibility to invite me into their home.
I'm sure also in your reserve assignments when you were a reserve officer and also in active duty, you probably influenced a lot of young men and women.
You know, that's one of our responsibilities, I think, when you're put in any leadership position, whether it's in business or in the military. You know, if you have people that are working for you, I mean, you're obligated to help them to grow too. And I hope that I've done that. You know, I've just a couple of weeks ago I got a call from one of my captains when I was a colonel. Well, he's going to pin on his second star, so it's kind of cool.
You paid it forward in so many ways.
Yeah, so kind of emotional when you think about, you know, that you know, the success you had.
You've made a difference in so many lives.
But the things we did at MA, you know, again helped me because I had people, I had teammates, I had Art Bocher, you know, some of those people, Bill Whitaker, that were so, Mrs. Threffel, Sam Ladonia, but I think Plato Yannicks, and you had a lot of things.
Track coach, remarkable.
Plato Yannicks, and they were, you know, they were so instrumental, and you know, and then when you take your teammates, they were so selfless. I mean, they would do anything for you. Like
John Lewis. I know you had a special bond with John.
Yeah, John Lewis was, to me, John Lewis was our best football player. You know, he played both ways. He, you know, he was just an anchor and just so solid, and people always looked to John. Tom Aldi, you know, who you saw, a very inspirational football player in person. Gary Newman, what a classic. You know,
Wilbur Witzel.
Wilbur Witzel.
Willie, yeah.
Willie. You call him whatever you want. I'll call him Kamikaze. That guy was fearless, you know, on the football field.
Yeah.
And then we had our you know, our spirit team. You know, some of the people we had. You know, they're still
cheerleaders, and
they're still so special. You know, you can take, you know, Joan Williams, Kate Cord, Joni Carlson. You know. Just wonderful people. Then we had our drill team, some of the people, Bonnie Atherton, you know, I believe Barb Daisy King was on there.
Yes.
But there were just so many. Jenny Bull, you know, was just a wonderful person too, you know. And I think I've given you that our Bear Championship thing. I hope people enjoy that because you can really see the spirit we had as not only a team, but you know, all of our fans. I think people really looked forward to going to those games.
They were inspired by what all of you did.
And when I was playing, I was just having fun. You know, I was just having a good time, and yeah, I might have scored, you know, a couple touchdowns or something like that and been part of that team, but it was really a team effort. And not only, you know, some of the seniors we had on that team, you know, there were some awesome juniors, you know. They gave their heart and soul like all of you. Yeah. That Kobe Howell, you know, there was
Junior,
a terrific
yeah.
athlete. And speaking of athletes, you know, we had some really fantastic athletes. You know, I mean, Dick Roth, of course, was in the class, so how can you be an Olympic champion?
Yeah.
Russ Kidder, Russ Tweed. To me, outside of you know, Dick Roth, I think Russ Tweed was our best athlete and a quiet champion, you know, class.
All around classic.
And so, but we were very fortunate to have the kind of class we had and the kind of experience we had. And we had a great faculty too. I hear so many people talk about, you know, the hearing longs and some of these. I didn't have hearing long, and I always get a class. It's kind of a classic when you think about people saying who their favorite teachers were, and they were math teachers and science teachers, and they inspired them. You know, which is, you know, I can understand. My favorite teachers were Mr. Butler, Mr. Bocher, Mr. Whitaker. You know, so I was on the industrial arts, you know, PE side of the house.
Sure.
You know, but then when I got into college, you know, that all, you know, it kind of changed. My major was business.
Mm-hmm.
You know, enjoyed it, and I think that was a really good fit for me, and enabled me to do what I did later on. You know, when I did get a business career. So.
So you never took a class in salesmanship with Mr. Donald Sales?
No, and
Okay.
I even saw Rima even had a business kind of a curriculum,
Yeah.
you know, and I guess when I went to MA, and it's been a pleasure having you and Marty
I want to
here.
thank you. What a wonderful 2 days.
And just remember, you have friends in Wisconsin, and we're just about 35 miles north of
We will.
Lambeau Field.
We will
you
see
know?
you again, I promise.
So, but, you know, again, I just want to say hello to my classmates. They've been so much to me. And it was great to share the MA experience with them, and they're still very, very special to me.
Thank you, Dan, very much.
precious love where before the light for me again with all of your might in the still